Welcome back to another episode of Proven Power Cycles. For those who don't know me, my name is Eric. Lewis and Dale are inside. It's really loud in there right now, so I'm gonna be outside shooting the intro on this, and then I'm gonna show you what Lewis is up to and what Daryl's up to here in just a second. But all in all, I want to start out here also because we got a few bikes outside, so figured we might as well go over them. So the first bike we have here is one of the super stocks that races with us. This guy, this particular, he's a client of ours, customer of ours now. I've kind of consider him to be a friend of mine. So his name is Rosario. So he races on XDA. He's new to the XDA circuit, but this is his Gixxer 1000, GSXR1000rr to be exact. But this is one of the super stock bikes. This bike is currently in for an MR12 tune, well, to critique the tune, I should say. We kind of did some data logging and a little bit of tuning for his wide open throttle stuff. But as far as like the acceleration, the stab, coming off the line, stuff like that, I have not really mapped that out yet. So we're gonna get it on the dyno, kind of get it all the way mapped out to where we have a nice, good baseline. And then whenever we get back up to the tracks in Maryland and Virginia and all that, which we're going to be testing here in Florida, so we're going to get some data logging here in Florida. But for the most part, we want to get a good base map going and get everything kind of situated first. Get some good times on this thing, and then start going from there and kind of customizing it for the track, depending on what track we go to next. So, but anyway, that's what he's here for. You guys know about the Turbo GSXR 1000. This one's starting to come together. We got a few new goodies in for him that we have to throw on the bike. We've got a new Brembo lever and a Brembo master. This is not going to be, sorry, when bikes get dusty, they kind of annoy me, but this is not going to be his gauge cluster. This is just to give us an idea of what we're looking for. But anyway, we're going to get that resolved. We have, like I said, we have his new brake master and we have the new clutch lever in. So we're going to get those installed, get this thing cleaned up a little bit more. Again, just keep getting it to that finish line. So we're continuously working, continuously doing some small things here and there to it to keep this progress going. This one is in queue. So this one is going to be, we have to figure out the engine issue, and then he's going with a full turbo kit. So we actually are moving on this. We do have some parts ordered. We have some things en route. One of which is the clutch kit for him. So we're waiting on the clutch kit to come in. So we are doing some things while we're kind of waiting to start this build. We are ordering, we are being proactive, and we do have things moving for him. We're just, again, he's in line. We got a few more that we need to finish. But this is our guy from South Carolina. We are waiting on his brake line kit, just came in, but we're also still waiting on that slave cylinder and the clutch master. We're still waiting on those two things. Hopefully once these come in, then we can progress, get that clutch bled out fully, get this thing running correctly, so at least we can get it up on the dyno and hopefully actually be done with it. So once it sees the dyno, it should be pretty much all wrapped up by then. So we're trying to do the last little bit of things on this thing, and this one's gonna be fully done and out the door. We recently got this this Indian Chief in from a local dealership. They want us to tune it on a Power Commander. So it's running a little rough right now. We're gonna look into it. We're gonna get on the dyno, get this thing figured out, and get this thing moving as well. And this is what I really wanted to show you guys currently was here we have this beautiful 2011 GSXR 1000 in for a valve adjustment. And he's also gonna get an E85 tune done by us, which you can do this on your stock fuel system, believe it or not, which I know now the knowledge is a little bit more widespread than what it used to be back in the day. But for those of you who don't know, you can tune your bike all through the ECU and on E85 through the stock ECU. Just need to map it, and on your stock fuel system. So it's got an EK 3D chain here, Vortex rear sprocket, aluminum. This bike was pretty quick from what I remember. I tuned this bike about 4 years ago, and he said the bike's been stout since the tune was done. So anyway, he just came in for his valve service, and which honestly the valves were good. I think there was one on the tighter side, and that was it. Other than that, the rest of them are all within spec. They're great, honestly. They're in really good spec. Still a very healthy motor, and like we said, we're gonna close this thing back up and get the E85 tune done on it. So we'll see what power this thing makes. This is gonna be an interesting one. I'm really curious to see what we end up with on this. Oh, it leaked on you. Oh yeah, so with that being said, with the mileage and everything, we thought it would be Lewis. Actually, I got to give it to him, got to give him some props. He said, hey man, we really should get the injectors on the tester and make sure that everything is good to go for the E85 tune. Make sure that, you know, it's going to be solid, given that the mileage is up there. So we're going to go on there, we're going to check it, we're going to make sure that all of his injectors are nice and clean, and just make sure that it's good to go. This particular client is a guy that's like, I want zero issues. I want to hop on the bike and ride out, no problem. And here is that other ZX14r engine that we were trying to figure out what the damage was, and it in fact was a rod. And you guessed it, it's number 3. So number 3 chewed up the crank pretty good. We got some notching here, some grooves all inside this crank. So, but all in all, it doesn't look like it got destroyed too bad. So we're gonna send this crank out. We might actually be able to get this polished out and cleaned up and just run an oversized bearing here. So we'll see. We gotta send this out and basically kind of cross our fingers. So it'll save us a little bit of money, or save the customer, I should say, a little bit of money. Versus buying a brand new crank. Sometimes these things can be salvaged and we can reuse them, no problem. Again, we just have to see kind of what the machinist recommends at this point. So this one's kind of out of our hands. We are waiting on, we have an 08 ZX14 build going on right now as well. His cases are sent out and the cylinder head also is sent out. The cylinder head should be done here, I don't know, soon. The case rather, the lower case. We are waiting on that, and that should be back hopefully in the next couple of weeks. So sometimes that's what you got to do. You just got to play this waiting game with the machine shops and you know, just kind of patiently wait, if you will. So we're waiting on that, but once those get back, we'll be ready to assemble that motor and get it done and get it out. So we don't have the bike for that. The client has the bike. He's located about a couple hours away, I want to say. And once he gets everything back, they said that they're going to install it, get it running, and then bring the bike down for the tune. So just kind of, again, waiting on all that jazz to come through, guys, so we can give you some updates on that. We also got a brand new Gixxer 2024 in Gixxer 1000 here, and we're going to do a full video on this one, guys. Exhaust, it's really just the same song and dance kind of thing, and it's going to be an exhaust and a Sprint filter, and then we're going to do a dyno tune on 93, but this is going to have a full Graves titanium system along with a Sprint PO8. So I haven't done one, I don't think, with a Graves yet. So we'll see what happens, see what numbers it produces, but that's what's getting ready to go under the knife here right now. We have this 09 CBR 1000 here on the dyno. We just got done fixing a misfiring issue. It had a bad cam position sensor. So we just got done swapping that out, and he said, go ahead and tune it now. So we got on the dyno, it's starting to run pretty good, but I just wanted to show you guys, whenever you get an ECU flash and dyno tune through us, we always clean your chain and sprocket on the dyno. I mean, this is pretty bad. We've seen worse, but all in all, this is a lot of neglect. So we're gonna have a talk with the owner whenever we do see him and just let him know this is, you know, you don't really wanna do this. You don't want it to get this gummed up, this dirty. This is what causes chains to break and just fail very quickly, prematurely. So sometimes we'll hear people, they're like, man, I just put that on like 4,000 miles ago. Well, it's like, well, you know, depending on where you're riding and how you're maintaining the chain, and the conditions that you're riding in, that 4,000 or 5,000 miles could make it look real bad and gummed up. So, and see right here, like all on the O-rings. Now I've already started cleaning this, but see on the O-rings how it's all gummed up in here? Like, you do not want this, trust me. It's not good. It's just not good for the bike. Creates a lot of extra resistance all in all. Just degrades the chain. You're getting dirt and stuff all in there. Keep it clean, guys. Keep this as clean as possible. Trust me. Take care of the bike and the bike will take care of you. So we're going to get this all cleaned up for them, but I just wanted to show you guys that. Get kind of up in there to show you kind of how nasty it can get. So keep that chain clean. Trust me. We got the chain all cleaned up here, the chain and the sprocket here, and as you can tell, remember when I was talking about you get that premature wear? Well, look right here. We got some surface rust right here, and we got some more surface rust happening all right here. And it gets a little bit worse as we kind of work our way up here. And now look at this master link. This master link is rusted through. Even on top, you can see where the rust is already starting to come through this master. See how the rust is going through the chain link? It's not just on that surface. That's how you can tell that it's already kind of past due. So this chain, it needs to be serviced. It needs to be swapped out rather. So we're gonna talk to him about that as well. I'm sure he's gonna add it to the checklist, but we got it all cleaned up again, at least got it all lubricated, and we got it really lubricated now. So mainly wanted to show you guys this chain and sprocket though, and show you the afterward, but also show you that we do have some problematic links here now that we got all the crud off the chain. And again, if this was being taken care of, if the maintenance was done, this chain would look beautiful, and it will last a lot longer. So take the extra time, clean the chain, clean the sprockets, guys, get them lubricated. Take that time, trust me. This is not far from breaking. So he's got a little bit of time, but not much. So we have a GSXR1000rr in on the dyno, and we were kind of going over the tune on the bike and everything. So we're looking at it and all that jazz, and we're kind of talking, we're always talking about ways to kind of help get a little bit more power out of the bike, right? So, and I remember a little while ago, there was a little bit of not an argument, but a debate that was saying, run your chain tight versus running it loose, which is better. Now, I don't know necessarily, I like to run mine with an OEM spec for the most part on a stock wheelbase bike. So this chain is a little bit on the tighter side, which again, everyone has their preference. So what we want to find out, and this is how basic it's going to be. We just want to find out, are you going to make more power with the chain a little bit more like, let's say, OEM spec versus running it on the tight side? So let's look at it so you guys get an idea of tension. Here we go. This is as much free play as we get. Not a lot. It is definitely on a tighter side, which again, some people like to run it on this tight side. Very, very little play, all right? I'm giving it a good bit of effort right here to kind of wobble it. So we're gonna run it closer to OEM spec and see if it gives us any more horsepower numbers. So right now, we're sitting at 190 horsepower, all right, and 82, almost 83 foot-pound or pound-foot of torque, right? And air fuel's, you know, pretty dialed in. So we're just gonna see what happens when we loosen up this chain. We're gonna see, now if there's like a half a horsepower difference here, I'm not really gonna, you know, I don't know, I won't really chalk that up to a real gain per se. But now if we make like a couple more, if we make like 1 or more horsepower, I'll kind of count it as like a viable thing. But if it's anything less than like 1 horsepower, I'm not gonna count that. That could just be temperature, little temperature fluctuation or something. But let's see what it does. I'm really curious. You guys already have an idea. Let's loosen it up and do some runs. All right, guys, so just to show you, we looked up the actual torque spec, or not torque spec, sorry, the actual chain slack specs here in the service manual, and it says 20 to 30 millimeter, which is 3/4 to 1 inch. So I wanted to show you guys is basically where we're at. So as you can see, we looked it all up, 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch, and as we can all agree, this is about 3/4 of an inch to about 1 inch. So a free play, all right? It was tighter before, we loosened it up a little bit. Let's see if that equates to some horsepower. Well, we loosened it up, we put it into OEM spec, and we didn't gain anything. We got basically the exact same horsepower number, 82 pound-foot and 190 wheel horsepower. So the only thing I could see is down low right here, we picked up 2-wheel at 7,400, and I don't know if that's a fluke or not, but I mean, it is a solid 2-wheel gain right here. But again, I don't know if that's related to chain or maybe it was just a good run. All in all, I guess it just comes down to your preference and kind of how you like to run it. Again, I like to run it more like an OEM spec. Some people like it tighter, some people like it looser.
Waiting to get burned and all.
I know. We got another bike that we got to throw on the dyno. So another Gixxer actually. So this one's gonna be a full-on video. So we got a full video coming out on this one, guys. Be sure to check it out, us going from start to finish on this build.